Hi guys, Miss King here. Just before we go on to solving simultaneous equations using graphing, we're going to look at the three different ways to graph a linear equation. Okay, so the first one is to use a table, so you can plug in x values and work out your y values. That will give you the points and you can plot them. The second way is to use the slope-intercept form. Third way is to use the x and y intercepts, also called the intercept method. And what we're trying to do is look at which one is easiest for you. So the cheat sheet is, or basically the tips that you need, are if it's written in standard form, i.e. ax plus by is equal to c, then use the intercept method. If it's in the form y equals mx plus c, then you use the slope or intercept method, as it's really obvious to see what the slope and intercept are. And if it's in neither, you can just choose which way you want it and rearrange your equation. So in the first one, we're going to look at graphing y is equal to negative a third x plus 2. And we're just going to try and work out which graphing method is easiest. So using the slope and y-intercept or the table is what we're going to come up with, because it's really obvious to see what our m and what our c is. Okay, so straight away I can see that my m is negative 1/3 or 1 over negative 3. Doesn't really matter what way you write it. So I'm going to say that my m is equal to negative 1 over 3, and that my c is really obvious, my 2. Okay, so c is the y-intercept. Another way of quickly finding your y-intercept is letting y equal to 0, so it's equal to 2 when you let y is equal to 0. So using this method, then we know what our y-intercept is, so it's 2, so that's the first thing that we do, is to plot the 2 on the y-axis. That's our starting point, and then you can either go to the right or you can go to the left. So in this diagram here, we're going to the left, so it's essentially we're going to read left to right anyway, so it's going to be a drop of 1 and a cross for 3, a drop of 1 and a cross for 3. So you can see here it's a cross for 3, a drop of 1, a cross for 3, and a drop of 1. So the 1 is negative, so that's why we know it's going down. So when my slope is in the form negative 1 over 3, it's my rise over my run. So my rise is the numerator and my run is the denominator. And my c, I know already, is 2. Sorry, I should do that in a different colour. From the y-intercept, apply rise over run. So again, my rise over run, my rise is negative 1 and my run is 3. And I can just keep repeating the actions, plus 3, down 1, plus 3, down 1, plus 3, etc. And I end up with a line. Okay. This formula here is a little bit different. So it's what the graph is. The aim is to graph negative 2x plus 3y is equal to 12. And we're going to use the x and y intercepts because it's in standard form. And remember, when we're using the intercept method, we have to plug in the zeros. So when you're finding your x-intercept, the idea is that you let y equal to 0. Okay, and if I let y equal to 0, I end up with negative 2x plus 3 times 0, which is just 0, is equal to 12. So I end up with x is equal to 12 divided by negative 2 is negative 6. To find my y-intercept, I let x equal to 0. So I end up with negative 2 times 0, which is just 0, and then 3y is equal to 12, so y is equal to 4. So my point up here is negative 6 and 0. My point down here is 0, 4. And then I can plot those 2 points, which is already done for you on the graph. So my 0, 4, and my negative 6, 0. And then I can just draw a straight line. Okay. So you should decide which method is easiest to graph the following. Negative 3x plus 6y is equal to 2. So you've got your table option where you plug in values for x and get y values, your slope and intercept method, or your x and y intercepts method. Or obviously if you've got a calculator, you can use your CAS. But I'd like to give that a go now, whichever way you want. Maybe not with the graphics calculator. And give this question a go as well. Okay, thanks.